Welcome to episode 4 of Everything You Need to Know About Clinical Trials. Today, we're going to talk about phase 3 clinical trials. By the time a treatment reaches a phase 3 study, it's already shown promise in earlier trials. Now it's time to answer the bigger, more important questions. Does this treatment work better than what we already use? Does it help patients live longer? Does it help patients live better? These are larger scale studies that often lead to new standards of care. And in this episode, we'll explore what phase 3 trials involve, who they're for, and what you can expect if you decide to take part in a phase 3 clinical trial. So what can you expect when participating? So if you take part in a phase 3 study, you will be part of a much larger group of patients. It could be hundreds or even thousands, and they happen in different trial sites that could be across the country or even across the globe. Phase 3 clinical trials are often randomized. This means that you will be randomly allocated to either the experimental arm, which is testing the new treatment, versus the standard of care arm. Phase 3 studies are often blinded. This means that you and very often your doctor won't know which medication you will be receiving. And this is important because this helps us keep the results of the study objective. Just like with phase 2 and phase 1 studies, you will have frequent checkups for blood work, imaging, to determine how your body is responding to the treatment. If we find that throughout the study, the tumor is getting smaller, then you will likely continue on this treatment and be monitored for an extended amount of time, sometimes even multiple years. However, if we find that the tumor is getting larger, then at this point, the investigational team will discuss what other options are, but this often means that you will likely have to come off the study. So what are the goals of phase 3 studies? So they compare the new treatment to the current standard. They continue to monitor safety. They measure real world outcomes, so things that are, truly what's most important to patients, which is how do they improve symptoms of cancer? Do they help you live longer? Do they help you live better? They study these medications in a larger group of patients, as I mentioned, often across the globe. And they provide evidence for FDA approval. Because they include patients from across the world often, or multiple cancer centers across the country, they ensure that the medication works for a diverse group of patients. So what are the pros and cons of joining a phase 3 trial? The pros are that you may receive a promising new treatment that could be more effective than the current options. These studies are the closest step to FDA approval, so there's a lot of evidence that the treatment likely helps, but this is the last step in understanding if that is the fact. And you will receive either the new treatment or the current best standard of care. And as I mentioned, placebos are uncommon unless there's no standard treatment. The cons are that you won't get to choose whether you receive the treatment that's being investigated or the standard treatment. As I mentioned, these are often randomized studies. Because these studies are also often blinded, you may not know which treatment you are receiving. And more visits and follow-ups are likely required as opposed to the standard treatment to help us understand how your body is responding to the treatment.